This I don't even want this. Hi guys, Q264 here, and today we're going to be talking about my Blu-ray collection. Yes, thank you to everyone who checked out my previous video, The Case for Physical Media. I had a lot of positive reactions to that. Thank you to everyone who checked that out, and in that video I said if I got more than 50 likes, I'd do a Blu-ray collection video. I had zero expectations that I was going to get more than 50 likes, but as of this video, I think I just cleared 70, so that's awesome. Thank you guys. I've also picked up some subscribers from that video, and because of that, I'm going to try and do some more physical media-related videos among all my reviews and such. So believe it or not, I actually already shot this video. I shot it a couple weeks ago. I got about 70% done with my whole Blu-ray collection, and then my battery died and my card was full and it was midnight and I was tired and I lost my voice because there's just so much stuff to go through. And then when I edited it, I realized how long this video actually is because I completely underestimated how many Blu-rays and 4Ks I own. So with that being said, the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to do specific videos, part 1, part 2, probably part 3. I don't know. I'm going to split it into parts, and the parts are going to be by genre. Now, how I have my Blu-ray collection set up here is actually by genre and then alphabetical. It's the way I like to organize my movies because when I come over and I'm trying to find something, I generally know what type of movie I'm looking for, and that's why I have them by genre. Also, it's probably because I used to work at Blockbuster, and that's how we did our movies there. But that's the way that makes most sense to me. So I think in this first video, we'll take a look at sci-fi movies. All right, guys. So first up is 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick classic. As you can tell by all the used stickers on this, I definitely bought this used. I think I actually got this at a movie stop in Georgia. I don't even know if there's any movie stops left, but man, I miss being able to go into movie stores and getting some used stuff. But 2001: Space Odyssey, 4K just came out, so I would like to pick that up. Obviously, this is a classic and is a necessary film if you're going to build a sci-fi section properly. Next up is Arrival. This was Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I really like this movie. It felt like an episode of Twilight Zone. Very underrated and kind of forgotten. It was a big deal when it first came out, but not too many people talk about it now. But it is really solid. Alita Battle Angel. I still have not seen this, believe it or not. I didn't check it out in theaters. I'm not a huge anime fan, so obviously I'm not familiar with the anime that this is based on. However, it got a lot of good reviews, and I heard the 3D was really good, which the only reason I've not checked it out yet is I want to go check it out on my friend's 3D. My friend has a 3D television, and that's how I want to check out Alita, which is really awesome that they released the Blu-ray 3D and the 4K. It's really a shame that you can't really find 3D TVs anymore because I really wish I had one of my own. Man, I'm going to have to go searching for one just to put it in the other room. You can probably get them pretty cheap if you do find one. Next up is Attack of the Block. It's still in the wrapping. I bought this on a Black Friday sale. One thing about most of my movies is what I do is very rarely do I buy movies as they come out, unless there's a steelbook or something specific or a movie that I can't wait to go check out. Majority of my collection's been built by bulk buying stuff on Black Friday, and that's you'll hear that a lot in this collection videos. But Attack the Block, yeah. I've heard it's good. It has John Boyega. This was obviously before Force Awakens and the Star Wars films. So I actually bought this before the Force Awakens comes out. That's how long I've had this movie. If anybody else has checked it out, let me know. Let me know what you think. Avatar. This is the extended cut, and I actually really like the extended cut. I know a lot of people don't like Avatar anymore. I guess the cool thing is to hate on it now. I still like it. I think it's a good movie. Yes, it's not that original. It's basically Pocahontas and dances with wolves in space, and the story's not that original. But the effects are still great today, and I like the extended version because it adds in a lot of stuff that was missing from the theatrical cut. Next up is my Blomkamp trilogy, which includes District 9, Chappie, and Elysium. Now, these were all directed by Blomkamp, hence the Blomkamp 3 on the title here. This is actually a pretty cool collection. It's got a book in it and everything. So yeah, yeah, District 9 I really liked when it came out, and it is pretty solid. I don't find it very rewatchable. Chappie, I saw it in theaters, and I thought it was okay. I think it could have been a lot better, and Elysium I thought was decent enough. I think out of the three, the one I enjoy to watch the most, or the ones I can rewatch the most, is definitely Elysium. Blade Runner. This is the original Blade Runner, Harrison Ford. This is the 4K. This is the final cut. So there's 3 different versions of Blade Runner. The final cut, to me, is the best one. If you're wondering why it's still in the wrapping, I just upgraded my Blu-ray to a 4K this past Black Friday. So I've not got to check it out on 4K, but trust me, I've seen Blade Runner. Blade Runner's awesome. And then, of course, you have Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve. And man, this director's awesome. I didn't mention it, but he actually directed Arrival, which I just talked about. This is just such a beautiful looking movie. It's pretty slow paced, and I've only rewatched it once, so I've seen it twice. It's still an amazing looking movie, and it builds a good atmosphere and tone. I really like Blade Runner 2049. It would a great follow-up to Blade Runner. Next up is Close Encounters. This is the Steelbook edition. It's pretty sweet. I do own a couple different versions of Close Encounters. I don't know where my other versions are, but this is the Steelbook edition. Close Encounters is one of Spielberg's best movies. I really like this one. It doesn't get talked about quite as much as some of the other Spielberg hits, you know, like E.T., Jaws, you know, Jurassic Park, stuff like that, but I really like Close Encounters. And Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, I actually forgot I own this one. You'd think this would be good because it was directed by Jon Favreau. You know, the guy who brought us Iron Man and The Mandalorian. Yeah, that guy. He also brought us Elf. This has Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford. It's also got Olivia Wilde in it. You would think that this would be a slam run. It's a grand slam. It's got cowboys and aliens. But yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever. It's not the worst thing, but I don't know. I was disappointed with it. On the other hand, Dredd is an amazing movie. I met Carl Urban. Dude, I'm so sad I didn't get to see a second one of Dredd. Yes, it's kind of a rip-off-ish of The Raid, but yeah, I don't really care. The 3D is actually included in the regular Blu-ray, which is awesome because the 3D for Dredd is one of the best 3D looking movies that you can get on home video. Call it home video. On physical release. Man, I'm old on a video. But yeah, Dredd is awesome, and highly recommend Dredd, obviously. Live, Die, Repeat. Yeah, that's what they put on the cover here. It's called Edge of Tomorrow. Why could they not just come up with a proper title? Why do they have to keep going back and forth on what they wanted to call this? It's Edge of Tomorrow. Anyway, this was such a good movie. I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, but he is in some really good movies. I definitely can't deny that. But I just like the idea of an action Groundhog Day. I love the aliens in this. I love the suits in this. I love Bill Paxton's lines in this. So I love Edge of Tomorrow. And Ex Machina. This is the 4K. It is currently wrapped up. This was a more recent pickup. I have not watched it since I bought it, but I have seen it before, which is why I wanted to buy it. Ex Machina is a really, really good sci-fi. Again, it's kind of like an episode of The Twilight Zone. I can see why I didn't do too well in theaters. It's very thought-provoking, and but it's really interesting. It's actually got the dude who played Hux, General Hux in Star Wars, and it just goes to show you that he's actually a good actor, and they just can't write good Star Wars movies, I guess. Next up is Fifth Element, Steelbook edition. Really cool pop art. I think I got a couple pop art steelbooks. Fifth Element is so good. I almost wish for a sequel, but I really don't because I saw what they did with Valerian, which Valerian's coming up. But Fifth Element, Chris Tucker, this is great. Ghost in the Shell. This is Ghost in the wrapping. It's still wrapped up. I have seen this before. I saw it in theaters. This was a Black Friday pickup for a couple bucks, which is why it's still wrapped up. I actually picked it up 2 years ago, I think. It was all right. I figured I might watch it again eventually, and I haven't yet. I'm not going to say if it's a recommend or not. I'd have to watch it again, but next up is Gravity. This is the 3D edition. I still have not seen Gravity. I know this was like one of the biggest movies of the year. How did I not see Gravity? Well, I didn't see Gravity because, I don't know, I wanted to see it in 3D. Again, this is on my stack of movies that I gotta go check out on my buddy's place and check out the 3D. Hunger Games, the collection. I did not buy Hunger Games as it was coming out. I do like the first one, and I like the second movie. However, I'm not a fan of the final two. They feel very disjointed and different. You can tell the story's being stretched out, and everything kind of got convoluted at the end. But the first two movies are really good. I like Hunger Games. And I, Robot, one of Will Smith's more underrated movies. Again, this is still in the wrapping, and that's mainly because I just upgraded to the Blu-ray. I usually watch it on streaming service. I think it got pulled off of the streaming service I was watching it on. And I got a good deal on it, and it's kind of got a really sweet cover. So, yeah, I, Robot, it's really solid. And Inception. Oh, yeah, this was on the Cowboys and Aliens, if you didn't notice. The reason why it says rental there is because I bought these at Blockbuster. Yes, that's how long I've had these. I used to work at Blockbuster, like I mentioned before, and they put these things on all the movies rental. So they were actually in DVD boxes, but the cases were in there, so I bought some new Blu-ray cases, and then I went ahead and took the slips off and put them in brand new Blu-ray cases. So it makes it look nice and new and not used like it was. Inception's so good. I know the 4K's out. This is honestly one of Nolan's best, and I love all of Nolan's movies, but Inception's really awesome. In Time, this is a movie that I don't think too many people will remember. The premise of this movie is so much better than the actual movie itself, where you hit 25 and then you get a certain amount of time, and basically time in your life is currency. It's a really cool idea. I don't think too many people remember this one. I do think it's worth a watch if you're a sci-fi fan, but don't think it's going to be anything too great. I do think it's okay, though. Interstellar. This is another Nolan movie, and Matthew McConaughey's in it, so what's not to like? I was kind of disappointed in Interstellar, only because I had so many. When I think of Nolan movies, I just think it's going to be great, and it was great, but it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. What's even funnier, though, is I actually bought this at Blockbuster. I don't know if you can see that or not, if it's going to focus in, but if it does, I bought this at Blockbuster for $4.99, and I actually bought it when it first, the first year it released. And the Blockbuster I bought it at is the Blockbuster in Alaska. Yes, I visited a Blockbuster in Alaska. I was up there for work. It was in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, really awesome, great deal. I do miss Blockbuster, guys. Next up is John Carter. Now, to me, John Carter is one of the most underrated movies of the past decade. This was a really fun sci-fi movie, easily on par with Avatar, but the marketing was really bad. Taylor Kitsch is not a main draw as the main character here. I do think maybe having a recast, not that he was bad in the movie, but maybe somebody who could have brought a little bit more star power than what he did, maybe could have helped the movie. Regardless, it's still a very good-looking movie, and I really like John Carter. I think it's very underrated. On the other hand, Jupiter Ascending. Why did I buy this? Well, oh, I know why. See that? See what it says there? Promo. That means I bought it at Walmart and probably paid a couple bucks for it. Well, I wish I could turn this into a couple bucks, because this is Jupiter Ascending's a terrible movie. I can't believe the Wachowskis made this. Wachowskis cannot make anything good. That's it. They're done. They can't make anything good. I don't even want this. Next up is Looper. This is the Steelbook Mondo cover, and just look at that. Isn't that awesome? It's so great. So this was directed by Rian Johnson, the same guy who ruined Star Wars. However, I will not deny that he has talent in his own movies. You just don't put him in a franchise movie ever again, and let him do his own movies, Knives Out and Looper, and leave him alone. Just let him do that stuff. I really like Looper. I don't like the second half as much as the first half. I think, again, this is kind of where the idea is a little bit better than the execution, but this came in a drought of having no original sci-fi movies, so I was really excited when Looper came out, and I went and bought this one on eBay.
Hello there.
And The Martian, Castaway in Space, Matt Damon. Yeah. What else is there to say? It's awesome. So awesome, I have two of them. This is the Steelbook edition, and this is the extended edition. I don't know exactly how much longer the extended edition is, but now I kind of want to watch it and find out, because I don't know the last time I watched it if I watched the extended or the regular. But yeah, The Martian's so good I bought two of them. And the Men in Black trilogy. You could probably put this in comedy too, but I'm gonna throw it in with sci-fi movies. That's what I did. First one, classic, awesome, rewatch it anytime. Second one, not as good, but still fun. Very, very based in the time that it was made, for sure. Remember the Balchinian? But and Men in Black 3 came out, decade later or something like that. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as good as the first two. It seemed kind of unnecessary. But it was way better than Men in Black International, which I do not own. So if you expected me to pull International up next, no. I'm not going to buy a movie to complete my set just because I know that I have zero interest in watching International. And then Oblivion. Like I said, Tom Cruise is in some great sci-fis and some great movies. This is a really, really cool movie that I won't talk about, because if you've not seen it, I would recommend it. I recommend it. And Passengers. So this was a little bit more romance, I guess, than I expected it to be. But it was an interesting movie. I think it had potential. I don't think it was quite as good as it could have been. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of WALL-E. With the premise, but I don't know. I feel like I need to rewatch and give it another chance. I've only seen it the one time. But again, this comes with the Blu-ray 3D, so I don't know if the 3D is any good. So if you guys have checked it out on 3D, comment, let me know. And next up is, well, I almost grabbed the wrong one. Next one up is the Planet of the Apes collection. This is the original movies. I grew up with these. I love these. Not all of them are great. First one is amazing. Second one's alright. I wish that they could have just got Charlton Heston to be the main character. I know he really didn't want to be in the movie. The third one's really good, although the tone's kind of weird. The fourth one, I think, is one of the best ones. And then the fifth one is, you gotta take it or leave it. And that obviously leads to the newer ones. If you're wondering why this is still in the wrapping, it's because I loaned out my other copy to somebody else. I never got it back, so I had to go buy another one. I really don't like this box. I kind of want to get a steelbook if they release a steelbook, but then it's not going to match in with the rest of mine. That's the problem with physical media, I guess. But obviously, Rise of the Planet of the Apes is one of the best of that year. And even better than that was the sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This was high on my list of best films of the decade. If you guys have not checked that video, Best Films of the Decade, I highly recommend it. If you want to check out, my 2 cents, I guess. But regardless, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is really great. This was actually in my top 20. I think it might have been in my top 10. I don't know. But this was really awesome. And the third one, when I saw it in theaters, I was kind of let down by it. The title kind of misleads you as to what kind of movie it is. But still good. And when I rewatched it a second time, I enjoyed it a lot more than the first time because I knew what I was getting into. So that's the Planet of the Apes. And next up is this, From My Childhood. Yes, the Blu-ray released this past year in 2019, and man, was it... I had this pre-bought. I pre-ordered this. I needed to watch it on Blu-ray. I needed to see the upgrade. Obviously, I own it on DVD. I'm a big Power Rangers fan. For fans of my channel, you see the Power Rangers stuff on my set. And yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's dumb. I actually made a drinking game, 2 different drinking games out of this movie. But it's so fun. It's a fun, dumb movie, and it's nostalgic. I like it. And this is the Power Rangers Steelbook Edition, which is freaking awesome. It was a Target exclusive, and I went to 3 Targets to find this thing, and they only had 1 left. So Obviously, I guess it's pretty rare, and this was right when I was getting into the steelbook collecting stuff. So as far as the movie, I like a lot of the approach. I like a lot of the stuff they decided to do. I like that they built the characters up. I really loved all the characters in this. They just waited way too long to put them in the suits and get that fighting in, and I think that really let a lot of people down. And Project Almanac, it's still in the wrapping. I actually watched this on a plane back from Korea, and it's like a found footage time travel movie. So yeah, it's not top budget, but it was interesting, and I bought it because I thought I wanted to check it out again. There was a lot of stuff that happened in it. When you're half asleep on an international flight, you don't really remember a whole lot, but one day I'll get around to rewatching it. And Prometheus. This is the 4-disc collector's edition. Now, I know most people are like, I love it or hate it with Prometheus. Honestly, I haven't watched it. I had a lot of people told me stuff that happened in it, and I just have not gotten around to seeing it. I do know it has the 3D version, so if I ever am going to watch it, I'll watch it at my buddy's place with the 3D, because I might as well go ahead and do it. And this is Push. So, you may be asking why it's in a PlayStation 3 box. Well, I've owned this again since Blockbuster, and I need to buy some Blu-ray cases instead of keeping them in these PlayStation 3 boxes, because I'm sure hardcore collectors are like, get rid of that crap, get it off of your shelf. But speaking of the movie, I really like Push. I think Push is another one of those that just kind of got shoveled underground, and not too many people remember it. It's got Chris Evans in it and Dakota Fanning. I think it's a really fun movie. I think it's really cool. And A Quiet Place, the Steelbook edition. It's really cool. It's got the raised scratches there. Cool. I don't know, I keep showing you the back and front because I figure you might want to see it. So here's the thing. I haven't checked this out yet. I've not seen A Quiet Place yet. And for me, that's pretty rare. A series of events led to me missing some show times and not checking it out. And then when I bought the Steelbook a couple weeks ago, I was going to watch it. But the second one's coming out, so I decided to go and wait and watch this one and then go watch the second one. So back-to-back feature, even though I kind of know some stuff that happens in it, which is kind of a letdown. It's just because I waited too long to check it out, but I can't wait to check out A Quiet Place. And Real Steel. Real Steel is here. It's still in the wrapping, mainly because I upgraded from my DVD to the Blu-ray, and I need to watch this because I really like Real Steel. Again, this is a movie not too many people remember. It's got Hugh Jackman and fighting robots. It's like Rocky with robots. I don't know, I really like it. It's actually loosely based on a Twilight Zone episode. Fun fact. Really good. I like Real Steel. All right, next we've got Ready Player One. This is the lenticular cover. Again, this is one of those I think a lot of people didn't like or thought it was just a nostalgia grab. I've read the book a couple times, so I was really looking forward to this one. And I really enjoyed Ready Player One. I think Ready Player One is a lot of fun. I think it's Spielberg having fun with movies again. And it's kind of disappointing that a lot of people just thought it was just a nostalgia, pointless movie, because it's actually pretty good. And I've seen it several times. And this is a 4K. I kind of want the 3D version just to check it out. And next up is the Riddick Collection. So you've got Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick. I don't know of another trilogy that has so many shifting tones because Pitch Black is like an indie sci-fi, kind of like a horror movie, and then Chronicles of Riddick is just a 90s over-the-top sci-fi action movie, and then Riddick is the happy medium between the two of those, so I like the third one the best. I actually bought this just so I could watch the third one because the third one's the best one out of here. And Firefly. You may be wondering about alphabetically, but that's because Serenity also. I own multiple copies of Serenity, different collector's editions and stuff, but the one I have on my shelf right now is the standard Blu-ray. And of course, Firefly. These are so good. This was Joss Whedon at his best. He's gone off the deep end in recent years. I don't think he's capable of making anything this good again. But thank you, regardless, for giving us some amazing sci-fi and an amazing sci-fi movie that you didn't even need the show in order to enjoy. This was honestly one of the best sci-fi movies of that decade. And Snowpiercer, otherwise known as the dark sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Seriously, there's a video that thinks that spells out the fan theory as to why Snowpiercer is a sequel to that. If you've seen Snowpiercer, you know what I'm talking about. But this is really awesome. I was really surprised when this came out. I saw it on a streaming service, and I had to actually physically own it. If you've not seen Snowpiercer, check it out. I think that it's still on some streaming services, so you can check it out for free if you subscribe to those. Source Code, another good movie. Jake Gyllenhaal, good sci-fi, good twist. I don't think it was as good as it could have been, but it's better than average. Better than average. Getting into some Star Trek now. So Star Trek, this is the 4 TNG movies. Now I do own the 6 original OTS movies, but I don't own them on Blu-ray, so I don't have them on my shelf. They're actually with my DVD boxes. So I do need to upgrade to Blu-ray, so I have those on Blu-ray. Right now, they're on all kinds of streaming services, so I just haven't got around to buying them. But TNG, on the other hand, I had to own this. I really like the cover to it as well. I kind of wish there was a slip, but that's kind of what happens when you buy stuff on Amazon. When you buy stuff on Amazon, there's a decent chance that they're going to ship stuff to you without the slip. It happens more than half the time. It's usually why I try and buy stuff in person if I can. Star Trek, this has the slip. The slip is the same on both sides. This is the J.J. Abrams 2009 Star Trek. This shows that J.J. Abrams can make a fun first movie. I really like this. I thought that they paid homage to old Star Trek in a great way. You had Spock in it. You had a differing timeline, so they could do stuff without spitting on what came before, trying to shoehorn it into what came before, which was a good leaping off point. I like the recastings, and I like a lot of the direction. I don't like everything in here. The lens flares in particular I wasn't a fan of, but regardless, I think that one was really good. And the darkness, it was okay. It was okay. I think it's kind of pointless to just have a sequel that has Khan. I think I wanted to see him do different things with it instead of just kind of doing a rehash of Wrath of Khan, which is basically what this is, a different kind of version of Wrath of Khan with Khan. And so yeah, regardless, I mean, it is what it is. Beyond, this was the one that had the director of Fast and Furious. I can't remember what his name was. What was his name? This is a terrible, look at that. I don't know if you can tell, but the credits are so dark blue you can't even read them on the back. This is terrible. Anyway, I know it was a director of one of the Fast and Furious movies, and it kind of feels that way. Not as bad as I thought it'd be based on the trailer, which basically just made it look like a Fast and Furious movie, but still, I mean, kind of underwhelming. Kind of sad that was the way that crew's going to be sent off with, because I think they deserve better than that. Star Wars Force Awakens. This is the only one out of the sequels that I own. I've seen it several times. I think it's fun. I think it's set up some good potential, and as I've mentioned in multiple Star Wars videos on my channel, I don't like the sequel trilogy, and it's because there was no direction. But this kind of shows that, hey, you could have done something with it, but you didn't. So anyway, since The Last Jedi, I've not been able to bring myself to go back and watch this, which is sad. And Rogue One. I know most people consider Rogue One to be the best out of Lucasfilm movies, and I can see that. But as far as a movie overall, I think it's a real mess. Terrible pacing. I think as a movie, The Force Awakens may be better, but the third act of Rogue One is really great. So I don't know. This is the Steelbook, by the way. I don't know if it's a Best Buy exclusive, but I remember buying it at Best Buy. And Surrogates, another movie not too many people remember. This was Bruce Willis, and nobody goes out in the real world anymore. They all have robots that they remote into, and then they take those things out into the world. So, really cool sci-fi, pretty good action. Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it. And Transformers. The slip is missing, so the cover looks really terrible. I know physical media fans are like, where's all the slips? Well, you know, some of them, they didn't send them to me, and I've moved multiple times. Sometimes they get damaged or lost, and that's sad. But the first Transformers movie, it's good popcorn fun. I enjoy it. I watch it every once in a while. However, the other Transformers movies, like Revenge of the Fallen, yeah, stack this up with Jupiter Ascending as being one of the worst movies I own. I don't know why I bought this. I think I've watched it once since I bought it, and that was when I first bought it. And I'll probably never watch it again. The cover's kind of cool, but yeah, we can just throw that with Jupiter Ascending. And Bumblebee. This one came out last year before last. I don't know. Since it's 2020, I'm totally thrown off. But I finally gave Transformers another chance after giving up with it because it's had good reviews. Is it good? Yes. Is it original? No. It's basically E.T. and the Iron Giant. It even takes place in the 80s. I like the shots with Cybertron. I think that they could have done even more with this and kind of just done a straight up reboot instead of trying to shoehorn it into the previous Transformers movies, and use this as a soft reboot to kind of kickstart the franchise going forward. And I don't think that's what they're doing, but that's what they should have done, because this was definitely the best Transformers movie since the first one, hands down. And Tron the Classic. I actually had an argument with somebody about this the other day, and they said it sucked. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it sucked. It's not aged very well, but it's almost like a time capsule of going back and seeing what all they were able to do with this. And I'm really surprised when I go back and see it. And if you watch the special features, just all the stuff they were able to do with this movie, really good. Now this is one of my favorite movies in my collection, the Tron Lenticular 3D Blu-ray. Yes. I love Tron Legacy. This one was so great. I'm so sad I never got a sequel to this one. I know it didn't make enough at the box office, and that's really sad because this was a really fun, enjoyable movie. And yeah, I love Tron. And Daft Punk soundtrack is just crazy good. And next up is Total Recall. This is the remake. I bought it used somewhere. Probably at FYE or something, and I probably got a good deal on it. It's the only reason why I think I bought it. I've only watched it once, and while not terrible as far as reboots go, most reboots are completely pointless and terrible. This one tried to stay closer to the book than what Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall did. However, I really wish I had Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall because I like that movie better, even though technically it's not a better movie. It's a more fun movie than this. So yeah, I'm kind of sad I don't own the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And Valerian, yes, this is the same director of Fifth Element, and you can tell when you're watching it because visually it's so interesting. It's so cool. I love the idea of the city of 1,000 planets. I think that there was a lot of potential in this. I just think that you had a really bad casting with Dane DeHaan here. As the lead. I just don't think he has the charisma that this character is supposed to have. I never bought him. He doesn't have good chemistry with the other character here, and that's the real downfall of this movie. It's just kind of like John Carter. If you had a little bit more star power in the movie, you might have had people checking into it. Dane DeHaan basically had only done Green Goblin and the crappy Amazing Spider-Man, and that's mainly what I remember from. A lot of bad movies. He's been in some good movies, but when it comes to big budget movies, yeah, he's got a zero record. And with that, I'm just going to have to go ahead and end part one with just the sci-fi section. Why? Because I'm long-winded and I talk about these movies too much when I'm going through them. But this is kind of cool. It gives me a chance to kind of talk about movies in my collection, let you know about some other movies you may not know about, because I obviously have a lot of older stuff in my collection as well, and kind of give you my thoughts on it. When I decided to do this Blu-ray collection video, because I was kind of I obligated myself to do it, but I took it as a challenge. It's a challenge to do a Blu-ray collection video, but I wanted to do it in a way that was different than most of the other ones. And because of that, it's going to be too long of a video. I don't want to do an hour and a half long video. I just don't. So we're done with part 1, which is the Sci-Fi collection. We'll probably go through my kaiju movies and my war movies and my action movies on the next one. That's the goal anyway. You may be asking about some of the stuff in the back. We'll go over those as well. Also got a different section for steelbooks. I got another section for Marvel films and some superhero films. I got some display places and so I'm gonna make sure that that I share all of my Blu-rays and 4Ks with you guys as promised. I want to thank you guys for sticking around this video. If you like this video, please give me a like and let me know. If there's no interest in these, I might not finish it. But I might finish it anyway because I'm a completionist. Either way, I don't know. Thank you guys for sticking around. As I said, thank you to subscribers because you guys are awesome. And you guys are the reason that you challenged me. You challenged me to do this. So thank you guys. And thank you for sticking around. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube stuff or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geechu64 and I'll always tell you the truth.